What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Final Fantasy. I got my coffee, I'm ready to go investigate this village and see what the hell they're doing in here. They said they had our friends, right? The people we've been freeing. But we're not gonna let all that good work get undone. Take care of this here and now. Didn't free all these people just to let them die to the Black Shields. We're working on perfecting my timing with some of these abilities that we have. This little backhand in that combo chain, I'm having a hard time sometimes getting that to always land, but I think I'm getting the hang of it in general. Getting better at it as we go. Got a lot of work to do trying to figure out the best way to combo all these subclasses together. I need a lot of practice getting that electric one in there. Pretty used to the Garuda one at this point. Easy, Torgal.
Find something, boy. Death.
Oh, found her.
This was my mother's doing.
But why? Why would anyone?
I don't know. I never truly understood her. But this...
Oh, Clive.
I will learn what madness drives her, and I will end it. We should go.
Yeah, there's gonna be an answer for that.
We can't leave them here like this.
We won't.
Everything we see here is gonna be
Black
paid
Shields
for
have
in
made it
full.
this far south. They may already be in Port Isolde.
And again, if this is on the way to our uncle's lands and he's not doing anything to curtail or stop this, I'm not confident that he's a good guy. He certainly left a lot of this go unchecked. I think I'm starting to get a pretty good picture of why he was left alone, allowing all this. Just came in here and put the entire village to the sword. Literally defenseless people too, like, they can't fight back. The abilities that everybody's forcing them to use, which would enable them to fight back, kills them. Slowly but surely every time they use it. It doesn't look like we should be very hopeful for survivors. Pretty much just a giant bloodbath. Feast for the crows. Again, it won't be the first time I've said it during this game, but just because we can't bring anybody back doesn't mean we can't send people to go meet them. I can't get justice, so I'll take revenge.
We're approaching Bewit Bridge. Though I doubt the Empire would let us cross over to Rosalith.
I don't think they'll have much of a choice. Okay, I can't pull myself to him anyways. But this is our lightning rod ability that we picked up. And this chuckable wasn't anywhere near in range for it. Level 28. Getting up though. I think I heard through no will of my own that the level cap is around 50 or 60 for the first playthrough, so
Didn't happen to come by way of Oldhill, did you? Saw some Imperials clad in black making for the docks just the other day. The next morn, you couldn't see the sun for all the ravens.
it's best you steer clear from there for a while. One thing games rarely touch on, I mean I don't blame them for doing so, but the level of dead that we're seeing, they're just strewn about like that. The level of plague and sickness and infection you can get from there is quite chunky. In honor of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. Yeah, they all say the same thing.
There's a curfew, then refuses passage.
Passage to the provincial capital is restricted to Imperial Army personnel.
The gates are closed.
They're all Rosarian.
But this is their home.
The Empire would have us moving.
Not even letting their own people in, huh?
Don't go thinking you'll find refuge in the houses outside Port Isolde. The place is a wretched hive of thieves and blackguards.
Well, let's see what we can't do about that. Again, I'm gonna feel like quite the asshole if I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it said that our uncle is in charge of this place, so... It is full of blackguards and thieves and a bunch of miscreants. That should be on him to fix. That's his doorstep. If it hasn't been fixed or addressed, then I'd levy a lot of accusations at our uncle. Only got some explaining to do.
Stay down.
Be
this right there? I believe it is. Wink. And there's gonna be a lot to discuss with dear uncle. The silken strand.
The Lazarus. What happened to this place?
My mother happened. The nobles who lived here didn't stand a chance. Let's hope my uncle fared better.
You, Clive, are assuming that your uncle doesn't have a hand in this. I'm not assuming that. You see what the rest of them are willing to do for power. No reason to believe he would be any exception. The rest of them clearly didn't care about honoring the Rosfield name. I can move it around. I can jiggle that. Good to know. I would not have known that I could jiggle that around if I didn't just randomly misclick that.
That's the main gate. And it looks like we're not the only ones hoping to get in.
No real surprise though, look at the rest of this place. Barricaded.
We should start with the main gate and see where that gets us.
Fair enough. I don't suspect it's gonna get us very far. Our mother has so much to answer for. At this point, I don't even care if she's manipulated. Like, even if she was somehow, quote-unquote, forced into doing this, I don't really give a shit. There's gotta be something done to her for this.
My children are starving!
Have mercy. Voice-rinsed dogs they are. You can't ignore us forever.
Let us in, or we'll die on your doorstep!
Better out there than in here.
Oh, enough
Fuck off! Hang the chinless bastards. Those crystals belong to us all. I said, where were you, filth? Back to your sties. Cut you down where you stand. Destroy it.
No chance of slipping through unnoticed. We'll need to find another way in.
Don't necessarily want to leave the good folks though to get put to the sword.
I thought we might be able to reason with the guards. Or at least bribe them.
I suspect everyone in that crowd thought the same. Was that the only way in?
Officially, yes. Strictly speaking, no.
I think we already found the
Once
other
told
way
me
in.
that the nobles had tunnels built, so that they could visit town without having to walk amongst the rabble. The Lazarus. We'll find our way into the city there.
If you're sure. The entire place looked abandoned. Do you think it's safe?
As long as it is abandoned.
feel like the existence of that, even in itself, kind of speaks towards the quality of the character of
The
Uncle.
good news is we haven't seen a single black
Hidden
shield
tunnels,
since
so they don't have to deal with the common
Maybe
people,
they found who they were looking for.
as if there's some blight. The nobility never ceases to amaze. Doesn't look like there's anything to be found or interacted with up here. Hopefully the peasants there managed to keep level heads. The Imperials would certainly put them to the sword without a second guess. It shouldn't seem like they're getting a little high. One little push could start that tinderbox. I mean, shit, they were already threatening to kill him.
This is nothing like I remember it.
How quickly a crown can lose its luster.
Yeah, this place has seen better days. The Duchess had what? I think 18 years we were in the Imperial service, plus 5 as Sid. So, 23 years. And she's already reduced the place to ash. And our uncle is directly responsible for this specific part.
Not abandoned then.
Oi! Visitors!
I wouldn't do that. That rusty sword's not gonna do you much good.
Apologies. We'll show ourselves out.
Why are we showing ourselves out? Clearly some kind of bandits.
Or not.
You want it, you got it. I'd say so.
I've only ever seen one man fight like that. And he's long dead.
Then perhaps it's time you joined him.
The blessing of the Phoenix.
I recognize him.
It can't be. I was there when you died.
The man who joined because Joshua saved his life. Recognize the axe.
Forgive me, my lord. I knew not whom I addressed. You have naught to fear from
You
us.
just kill a bunch of Rosarian soldiers.
Founder, it really is you.
It is. So wait.
We can speak inside.
We're not gonna talk about how I just killed like 20 of you, man. 20 of technically our men. Oh, okay, they're not dead, I see. That's why it said bested, not slain.
And those who wouldn't bend the knee?
We left before the Empire could make examples of us, though we didn't go far. And we banded together to form the Guardians of the Flame soon after. Alas, there is only so much a handful of aging shields can do against the might of an empire. But We've seen to it that their stay has been anything but pleasant. Of late, though, we've had our hands full just trying to keep the Duchy's few remaining bearers out of the Imperial's clutches.
The Cullings. We saw what happened in Old Hill.
Aye. The foul work of the Black Shields and their mistress.
You mean my mother? But it doesn't make sense. Even knowing what I know about her. Her hatred for bearers was no secret, but she wouldn't have been ignorant of their value to the realm.
No offense, my lord. But in case you haven't noticed, the Lady Annabella couldn't care less about the realm. She barely even cares for her own home. That much has been plain since the slaughter at Eastpool. And, since granting the Holy Emperor a new heir, her obsession with bearers only seems to have grown. As to why, I don't know. Maybe she can't bear the thought of anyone having the power to challenge her beloved son.
How touching. Fucking the Emperor, is she?
Sir Wade, the Black Shields have broken camp. They march in full force for Bewit Bridge.
Then so do we.
Make ready.
This is their main host. If we remove the head, perhaps
Say less, sign me up.
Perhaps we can prevent what happened at the docks from happening somewhere else. If I do nothing, then the blood of their next victims will be on my hands.
Not just yours, ours. We're in.
Yours and ours.
Aye, aye.
We too have witnessed the crimes these men who dare call themselves shields have committed in my mother's name. It cannot be allowed to continue. We must put a stop to this madness.
We must. So let us go with you. For the good of Rosaria.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Happy I didn't disappoint.
Very well. If that is your wish, I would be honored to serve at your side.
Absolutely.
And we at yours.
So, Wade, let us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
I am not surprised to see him still around and kicking. He's a hell of a fighter.
I imagine this endeavor will require more than just our wits.
Then let's hope Sir Wade has a good quartermaster.
I suppose we owe you our thanks. You spared us when you could have just as easily sent us to the mud.
I hope you're open kicking around enough to fight.
That's the Archduke's son. What is it you require?
Not much, actually. I think I'm already pretty solid. Desert Rose. I have none of this, so... just go ahead and buy 26.
Of course, my
I don't have any, so I want some. Buy a high potion.
Will that be all?
That'd be all for
I will
now.
be here should you need aught else.
Tell us then, Sir Wade. What is your plan?
Nothing fancy. You, Lady Jill and I make for Bewit Bridge, and provoke the main host at their encampment. Sensing an opportunity to end the Guardians, the Black Shields will call for reinforcements, who will be met from the rear by parties of my brothers hidden throughout the surrounding hills. This will allow us to wage battle on the bridge without fear of being overwhelmed. While the Black Shields have an advantage in numbers, you see, they prefer to fight in small units, which we can use to our advantage.
How small exactly?
Small enough, now that I have you and Lady Jill for company. I doubt I could have done this on my own.
But until we arrived, that was your plan. You haven't changed a bit.
So Wade, the bearers from Old Hill have been laid to rest.
That's good.
Very good. Now make ready for battle.
I'm glad they care enough to do that.
Thank you, Sir Wade. Perhaps now they will find peace.
There is but one thing which will grant them peace. Putting an end to the Black Shields.
On that we agree wholeheartedly. Party members. Throughout the main scenario, Clive will often be joined by various companions who are keen to lend their assistance. However, depending on Clive's destination, they may choose to remain behind at the hideaway. We have two of our companions now.
We'll keep them from the bridge.
May the blessing of the Phoenix go with you.
How long have you been pursuing the Black Shields?
Since they burned their first village, we tracked down the bastards responsible and fed their corpses to Stillwind. Suffice to say, that got their attention.
And we all have
It's been a game of
chocobos.
cat and mouse ever since.
Within the host, are they?
I got me sideways.
Come along now.
The bastards are lucky.
This one's about to be open real soon.
On your command, my lord.
What is it now? I told you!
We bear a message for the Vicereine. From the Guardians of the Flame.
Ha! You presume to tell us that a pair of filthy vagabonds, a woman and a dog, could guard aught against the might of the Black Shields? Then come! Die along with your flame! For Azaria!
For Azaria!
Your petty revolution ends here. On these our swords we swear.
Do this for me.
Bloody hell! Reinforcements from the far bank!
Another wyvern to find their battles for them.
You want to play? Let's play.
More dragons.
The Imperials aren't taking any chances. I can't say I'm flattered.
A noble stand, albeit a misguided one. In taking it, you have but proven our point, that this land is in dire need of cleansing.
Take a seat for me.
to finish this.
You ain't finished him.
I don't see any more.
Nor do I. The plan worked.
It did. It bloody worked. We sent every last one of the rotten bastards straight to the mud. My, Lord.
I think you can speak freely at this point, Wade.
To stop the Cullings. For the time being, at least.
Perhaps. Though I doubt my mother will take this loss well. She'll move swiftly to see her minions' ranks replenished.
And then it will all begin again. I often wonder if the nation we once knew is gone for good. Her fields rot. Her people starve. We battled to preserve the flame that was, but for every foe we fell, another springs up in its place. Yet be that as it may, it is still our home, and we must fight for it. As we always have, and always will. For as long as the Firebird's flame burns in our hearts, the Duchy cannot die. And her loyal subjects may dream of a day when the Rosarian standard flies over Rosalith once more.
So wait,
Think we should fall back to Port Isolde before the garrison sends reinforcements? A sound strategy, my lord.
Like Wade. He's a solid dude. It's nice to see people who kept fighting the good fight in the in-betweens.
And how long has my uncle been funding you and your comrades' endeavors?
Since the beginning. Lord Byron was the first person I turned to after forming the Guardians.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have been shitting on the uncle.
Back then, I wouldn't almost have been hanged by the city guard for trying to sneak over the wall.
I suppose a formal request for an audience would have appeared suspicious.
And appearances must be maintained. Were the Vice-Regency to catch wind of Lord Byron's involvement in our movement, they'd seize his estate and send him to the gallows, where he would be of no use to anyone. And so, though it sickens him to the soul, he plays the part of the loyal lord, knowing that one wrong move might prove his downfall.
But it'd be inside at the table, I guess.
He remains ever vigilant.
Him sitting at the table allows him to fund these guys.
You an audience, especially since you're famously dead.
Then I will have to think of a way to prove that I am neither wraith nor wrongdoer.
I might have something which could help with the latter. It's the mark of the Guardians. Display it, and those who love Rosaria will know where your loyalties lie.
Burnt blade. Got a new seal.
I shall wear it with pride.
Be sure that you do. I don't want my men attacking you again. Unless you deserve it. If only Sir Tyler could have been here to see you. Or the Lord Commander.
Thank you, Sir Wade. If there is ever anything you need.
I know. Go on now, my lord.
Nice to see familiar faces.
How accommodating. Do you really think they believe we are who we say we are?
Not a chance. Right, I guess. My uncle believes we're imposters here to rob him. And means to string us up himself.
Well, he brought an axe.
Imagine my surprise when I was told my nephew had come to visit. Clive Rosfield died long ago. And for uttering his name here, you shall pay with your tongue! You would mock me as well?
It is I, Sir Crandall of Camelot, loyal servant to Her Serene Holiness, Saint Sybil the Unshod. Meadow, thou vile sorcerer, for thy crimes against church and crown, I shall have thy head.
Is this something they used to do when he was a kid?
Curse thee, infectious flax wench. Even in death, must thou plague me still? Very well. I shall open the gates of hell, that thou might see thy charge once more.
Bravo, Uncle. You're still the finest Meadow in the twins.
Oh, Clive, my dear boy, it's really you. You always were fond of that scene from The Saint and the Sanctuary. Never did let me play Sir Crandall.
I have a favor to ask, Uncle Byron.
Rutherford, inform the kitchens. There'll be guests. We dine immediately.
But, Uncle...
You can't very well regale me with the tale of your miraculous preservation on an empty stomach. Go on, sit. See that you use the good plates, Rutherford.
I'm bringing out the fine china.
So you arrived late to one of her cullings, did you? Since becoming Vicereine, Annabella has been a constant thorn in Rosaria's side, but these atrocities are a new low. Something has changed. Quite what, I don't know, but the woman we knew is gone, and a monster sits in her place.
A monster.
For better or worse, I've been charged with governing this town, and thus must maintain the illusion of obedience. That's all I can do to aid Wade and his merry band of revolutionaries.
So he's told us. You have risked much for Rosaria. Our nation will be forever in your debt.
It has been 20 years, Clive. The nation your father and your forefathers fought to defend is no more. Perhaps it would be otherwise had I the courage of my brother. All right, if it's a ship you require, a ship you shall have. I've a galley in port, but recently relieved of her cargo. She can be outfitted for the voyage in a matter of weeks.
So you believe us, then? About everything?
I don't think it matters to him either way.
Believe you? Ha! Only a fool would believe even half of the things you claim. But until tonight, only a fool would have believed my nephew still lived. And besides, I have it on good authority that Clive is telling the truth.
Whose authority?
On your own, of course. You've always been a terrible liar.
Is that true?
It's not untrue.
I'd say no more about it, eh? It wouldn't do to linger on my nephew's greatest failing.
It's more of a virtue to be bad at lying, I think.
The one thing I cannot believe, though, is all this about you being Sid. You were always such a good boy. But now you're quite the outlaw.
We had some help.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, would make me an outlaw's uncle. Right then, who shall we pillage first? Rutherford, fetch me my cutlass. This will be fun.
Hopefully he doesn't catch too much blowback for this.
Over there. Go on.
She's a fine ship, isn't she?
Once outfitted, she'll bear us across the boiling sea to Drustinus in the space of 3 days.
Something on your mind?
Monsters. When I served the Iron Kingdom, I did so because I saw no other choice. Because once they learned that the lash would not move me, they turned it on those who could. And so I became their puppet. I let them pull my strings, telling myself it was not my hand that swung a sword, but another's. I removed myself from the truth so I wouldn't feel the pain it caused. And before I knew it, I no longer felt anything. Anything at all. I had become a monster.
Jill.
I don't want to be a monster, Clive. Do you understand? I want to choose a different path, a better path. To live on my own terms. But before I can do that, I need to come to terms with my past.
And when you do, I'll be standing there with you, just as you stood with me.
Thank you, Clive.
Thank you for the hope across the journey.
I must atone for my sins. Only then, when it's done, will the monster cease to be.
Just promise me that you won't die with it. Now, let's get some sleep. The journey back to Benamir is long, and there is much to tell the others.
She was in a situation where she was damned if she did, damned if she didn't. It's monstrous to fight for them, and it's also monstrous to let innocents be slaughtered in front of you. Better to save the ones you know than to save the ones you don't. At least, in my opinion. Alright. This looks like a decent break in the action. Head on back to the hideaway and then we'll wrap the episode. Here be monsters.
Only the Founder knows what awaits us in the Iron Kingdom. But Vivian could probably make an educated guess.
We have a side quest up yonder. And there. Alright everybody, before we go ahead and dive into all this kind of stuff, that is going to be a wrap for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always, there's a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you soon with more Final Fantasy. Take care everybody, have a great day.